Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambeau channel. What happens if the SEC actually wins their lawsuit against Ripple? Well, Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse has answered just that question. And even here in the intro of this video, I will share with you that my personal belief is that even if the worst happens, whatever you can imagine the worst to be, it doesn't mean that Ripple goes away. And it doesn't mean that XRP goes away. Not necessarily. Depending on how things actually work out, though, in the short term, wouldn't be surprised to see some negative volatility price-wise in terms of XRP, but it doesn't mean that everything's going to go away forever. So plenty to talk about here, but I'll just, to be clear, I'm still very long-term optimistic. I do believe that Ripple is on the right side of the law. It's clear to me that Brad Garlinghouse believes that he and Ripple are on the right side of the law. And I'm optimistic that justice will be done here sufficiently. It isn't always. You could get some bad law, and that's always in the back of my mind and perhaps yours, and certainly in the back of Brad's mind, I'm sure, and everyone at Ripple. But I still think there's reason to be optimistic because that's not usually what happens in the United States. But before I go any further, I do want to be clear. I don't have a legal or financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who makes YouTube videos as a fun hobby about Ripple and XRP and crypto-related stories, but that is indeed all that it is. But even if I were offering advice, which again I am not, would you want to take it from me? From a guy on the internet who calls himself Moon Lambeau, who may or may not be wearing pants? You do not know my current pants situation. All right, you know what? Fine. I'll let you in on this video. I mean, and it changes. This is a fluid environment here at the Moon Lambeau household. Right now, I am not wearing pants as I record this. I'm wearing shorts. Get your mind out of the gutter, damn it. It's nice outside. I don't need to be wearing pants. Anyway, so here's an article from Crypto News Flash. What happens if Ripple loses its SEC lawsuit? CEO Garlinghouse indicates a solution. Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse was a guest on Bloomberg talking about hopes for new talks with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission once Gary Gensler takes over as chairman. Recently now, Garlinghouse was also invited by CNN's Julia Chatterley, with the host focusing the interview on what happens if Ripple loses its legal battle against the SEC. And by the way, I put out a video yesterday in which I made it pretty clear that actually after this particular let's just say it like this. After certain revelations about Ripple's outlook of things, I actually became more optimistic for the long-term viability of Ripple, the company, and XRP, the decentralized cryptocurrency. Even if XRP were to be declared a security, I still think there's a path forward for Ripple, which is what I highlighted in that particular video, because you don't absolutely have to use in on-demand liquidity corridors, you don't have to use XRP. Now, the way it's programmed right now, XRP is the only option. So what I mean by that is Ripple absolutely could adjust their code to utilize it to tap into liquidity of any cryptocurrency, whether it's Bitcoin or everyone's favorite Dogecoin, just whatever. Now, I don't think that Bitcoin would ever be used, even though it's more liquid than XRP, because it's costly and slow. You know the whole rigmarole. Wouldn't be ideal for that, so I don't think that would be the one to get used. But if there's ever corridors where there's sufficient liquidity, absolutely, there's an opportunity to use that in place of XRP. And also, if it happens to be the case that, from a legal perspective, any on-demand liquidity corridor that touches the United States, if it ends up being the case that XRP is a big no-no because it can't be traded in the United States, which I think would be ridiculous. I don't think it's going to happen. I'm just saying if it did, Ripple would be able to use a different cryptocurrency. Now, again, if the question is which one, right? Because it's got to be sufficiently liquid. What would that look like? It would be a whole mess, but they could figure it out, I think, which is part of why I thought, okay, well, Ripple's not going to go away. There's all sorts of big money behind this endeavor. Nobody wants to give this up that's been working for this because there's still a real utility to be had. There's a real problem to be solved. And even in such a situation, XRP could still be used on any other corridor the world over that doesn't touch the United States. XRP absolutely could continue to be used in on-demand liquidity because the rest of the governments around the world, they're not being a bunch of idiot sticks in the way that they're viewing XRP, which is to say they don't view it as a security. This is a unique position of one government agency within the United States federal government. It's just one agency. That's it. Anyway, Garland House expressed confidence that Ripple will win, but did not rule out the possibility that the court will disagree, saying, quote, "I think we will prevail, but as you say, there is a chance that the court system does not go this direction." End quote. At the same time, Garland House emphasized that Ripple continues to grow beyond the United States. And here's another quote. "The good news for Ripple is that we continued to sign customers. We signed over 20 new financial institutions around the world since the SEC filed their lawsuit. And I think we will see the network grow very rapidly in non-US customers. The challenge is that it drives blockchain and crypto innovation outside the United States, which I think is not in the interest of the United States." Now, here's the good news, though. Assuming this goes the way we think and hope it will legally, there will either be a settlement or there will be full adjudication, in which case Ripple should end up, even if they are found to have lost, still be able to trade XRP, use that as a funding mechanism rather, and XRP should still be able to be traded in the United States. So once that happens, that will mean that XRP will be the cryptocurrency out of all 8,000 plus cryptocurrencies in the United States. That would mean that XRP has pretty much the most legal certainty around it that there possibly could be, like even more so than Bitcoin, because it'll be one of the first to go through the SEC grinder here. And so if it comes out looking something like what I just cited, that would be good. In which case, the cool thing would be, you'll be seeing comments, I believe, from Brad Garland House after there's clarity that United States entities, whether remittance firms, banks, etc., coming on board RippleNet. And so right now it's not surprising that it's all pretty well happening outside of the United States because of what's happening here. The SEC is more than putting a damper on all of this. But anyway, Peace continues. Chatterley probed, asking what Ripple would do with its U.S. operations in the event of a defeat, bringing up alternative solutions specifically for U.S. customers. Garland House answered in the affirmative and said the following. Here's a quote. "That certainly could be part of the solution, but we could do that. We always thought about our product as how to solve a customer's problem first and foremost, and I think that served our growth. And it's been the reason we saw large activity, billions of dollars in transactions across RippleNet." And then they write, "If nothing else, however, the Ripple CEO dismissed the danger of Ripple falling behind DeFi or global stablecoins as they serve other use cases. In addition, he said, Ripple has built a strong network of partners, including central banks around the world, who see Ripple's solution as helpful." And here's one final quote from Garland House. "I think here in the United States, the industry has a risk of falling behind. But Ripple is solving a cross-border payments problem. We're working with some and internally speaking to many central banks around the world about some of the stablecoin initiatives from central banks issued digital currencies. And we hear that it is actually helpful what Ripple is doing in solving a cross-border payments problem." Now that's certainly obviously true, because even with the advent of central bank digital currencies coming online here, we saw the first one, by the way, ever come online in October of last year. It was in the Bahamas. These cryptocurrencies, these central bank digital currencies, call them that, they don't speak to one another. They do not interoperate. They can't magically convert from one to another. You still need a bridge. And XRP is perfectly positioned for that. And I do believe, and you've seen indications of this, which I've been highlighting on the channel, I think by and large, central banks understand this. So the central banks are not seeking to solve a global payments problem, not a global one. They're looking out for themselves, or beyond that, maybe you could find some that are working to create a walled garden, which I'm actually going to be talking about in an upcoming video. But other than that, no, they're not seeking to solve the train wreck that is the world of cross-border payments and settlement. But I'll go ahead and wrap up there. I am not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.